In this episode, Mike and Tom engage in a wide-ranging discussion that covers recent events, sports, and political issues. They welcome Mr. Wayman Hicks as a pinch hitter for Keith not being in the lineup. The discussion moves to a local and national tragedy involving a church shooting, emphasizing the rise in societal violence. They criticize the president's response to such incidents, contrasting it with local leadership in Michigan. The conversation then transitions to the sports, specifically Detroit Lions and their season so far, followed by the Detroit Tigers' postseason upcoming challenges. The main topic shifts to H-1B visas, highlighting financial and ethical implications. Other topics include potential government shutdowns, the influence of materialism on children, and the impacts of social media and AI. The conversation concludes with reflections on the broader implications of these issues. What's going on, Mike Miller?
Hey there, Tom. What's going on, sir?
No, well, this week we are down a man.
So we have a pinch hitter in.
Mr. Wayman.
Mr. Wayman Hicks.
That would
Professor
be me.
Wayman. Yeah.
I am in as a pinch hitter. Yes, that's me. I'll do the best I can.
Special guest. Very astute, Mr. Wayman Hicks.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All the way from Comstock, Tennessee.
Welcome to the team, Mr. Hicks.
Thank you very much.
That's right.
Glad to be here.
All right. Mike, I
Yes,
know
sir.
we have a lineup of a lot of things we want to talk about, but we cannot get started without talking about Grand Blanc and the church shooting.
Right.
In our backyard, we have to touch on it.
It made national and international news, really. I don't know what to make of that. Only thing that I've heard definitive is that he had something against the Mormon church. I don't know what he had against the Mormon church, but they were very specific about that. It wasn't just a general attack on Christianity. He had something against the Mormons, and I don't know what that was.
I hadn't heard that or
Yeah.
even read that.
Yeah,
That came out
that was the
earlier
latest
today.
report.
There was something specific that they found that said he had a problem with the Mormons. Any violence at a place of worship is completely unacceptable. I can't condone it. I don't know what to make of it. He had a breakdown and he made a plan and he executed that plan. That's what happens. It's a lot of stresses on people today.
Yes, there is.
And
That is
this
very
is
true.
because there was another mass shooting somewhere. Was North Carolina or?
Yeah, it was one of the Carolinas where a guy was shooting from his boat into
Right.
a restaurant.
Yeah, I saw that.
Within a 24-hour period.
Right. It's a lot of stresses and people are starting to snap. That's all I can make of that.
Right.
Well, my first news on this shooting at the church was actually to catch a tweet, of course, from a president who immediately jumped to the conclusion that this was some sort of war on Christianity. And again, it seems like he is so swift to kind of jump to those conclusions and get people moving in directions before any investigation, any news of any kind has been confirmed. Like you were saying, Mike,
Correct.
absolute
Right.
tragedy.
Yeah.
A real leader doesn't jump to conclusions like that.
And he didn't even offer condolences as far as I can see.
Correct.
The first thing he said, oh, this is an attack. He didn't say, oh, we need to tone down the violence. No condolences to the family. That's not leadership, if you ask me. But
Well,
obviously he did that.
luckily we have leadership in the state of Michigan. She
Yeah.
stepped up and said that in the community,
Right.
in our hearts.
No matter what political differences we have, this is not, I don't think this was a political thing in the first place, but this is not the way to solve any differences. Gunfire in churches. Can't do that.
All right.
Can't do that.
Yeah. All right. How about those Lions?
Oh, yeah.
3-1 now. This
3-1
win was
and
not
should be 4-1.
unexpected. They showed that, look how many times they showed their team to be definitely reckoned with because they are on national TV so many times this year. I've never seen one team on that many, other than the Cowboys back in the day.
All right.
The Lions are on national TV like 4 or 5 times this season. Every time we turn around, they're on the national broadcast. I love it.
Right.
I
Right.
love it.
Yeah.
Well,
And as long as
well
I keep,
earned.
see, on that first win, I didn't have on my Black Lion shirt. But ever since then, after that first loss, I did not have on my Black Lion shirt. But after that, I started wearing that Black Lion shirt with the logo, and they won it. So now, every time, I put that on every time.
So you're
Whatever
taking credit
it
for the
takes.
win there, Mike.
Yes, whatever it takes.
Well, I don't know if I can afford this or if I can get permission from my wife, but I was on the road in Baltimore. Need to go down to
Wow.
Cincinnati for the next game and then KC after that.
All right.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, let's get
That's
that
right,
done.
you
Let's
were.
keep the winning going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the Tigers are postseason. Unfortunately, they struggled to get there, but they're there. That's the bottom line. They're there.
Right. They're there. Come tomorrow.
Struggle is
108.
very kind.
We need Floyd in on this one.
Yeah.
Floyd can tell you.
That's right.
Floyd knows about the Tigers.
It'll break them
But,
down.
It's really, but the first pitch tomorrow, 108, and we got Scooble,
Yeah.
on the mound. I think, it's going to be tough to win. We got to win 2 in Cleveland, and we have to win the first. That's the one you have to win. You got to win that first one because this
Set the tone.
you got to win the first one. So we got our best pitcher on the mound, win this first one, and everything else is a lot easier.
Keeping my fingers
crossed. Yeah, it was tough for us going into Cleveland last time in the
It
regular
was.
season.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough
Yeah.
now, too. But this is something they're going to have to step up.
And that was the elimination we had last season. The Guardians eliminated us.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So we got a chip on our shoulder. Let's go in there and
Chance
show
for
'em.
revenge.
Hopefully, send a message.
Absolutely.
So our main focus of the conversation today is the H-1B visas. Mike, you wanted to talk about that, so I'll let you run with it.
I'm surprised that that visa is $100,000 for a 3-year stint, and then you can renew for another 3 years, but you don't have to pay additional $100,000. Okay, so the worker comes over here, he has to pay the government $100,000, and then
Now, generally, the employer pays that, not the
or
worker.
the employer, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And then the worker is going to be taxed all the time they're here, including Social Security tax, which they'll never collect a dime of. I'm like, wow. So they're already paying into a system that they can't receive any benefit from. And you want an additional $100,000 per worker. These were Indian engineers who said this really crushes their dreams to have to come up with this money unless the employer is going to pay it. They have to come up with the money if they want to come here and get a job, or maybe the employer sponsors them but not going to pay that $100,000. They have to come up with it. They're saying that this is a dream crusher, especially to a country that is a nation of immigrants. We want the brightest and the best from the other nations.
Well, you say we want, but why not producing them here?
Oh, why we're not producing them? Don't get me started.
That's the whole point of the conversation. And my thing is, why are we importing technical skill sets when we should be training here for technical skill sets?
Correct.
There are people in our country who have computer science degrees, but they're just not getting hired.
They're not getting hired. Yes, that's true. It is a bias sometimes toward Asian workers or workers from India, because of the work ethic and the amount of study they put into it. I get it. I can't say that I oppose it, but like you said, we have to do that. And I think that's one of the things, that's not one of the things that he said. I just won't use his name. He said that universities should be training electricians and plumbers, carpenters. No, that's universities can train those people beyond what a trade school can do.
Right.
But ultimately, a university is not necessarily just a means to an end, that is getting a job. I understand for most people, that's what it is, especially for our people. It's usually a means to an end. But we became a great nation by being able to think outside the box. If we continue just to think, okay, we're just going to do this, we're just going to use fossil fuels. I'm going to use that as an example. Use fossil fuels instead of investing in electrification like the rest of the world has already done. That's holding us back. What you were asking, Tom, about why we're not training the people here. It's because there's no incentive to do it. There's only an incentive to train so many people. You don't get that training. We don't want you to have that training, even though you never know where the next great inventor, you never know who's going to invent a cure for cancer. You never know who's going to decode a gene within the human body to find a cure for a specific disease. Nature distributes talent equally, but opportunity is not distributed equally. You get it?
Yeah.
Talent is distributed equally, but opportunity is not. By not investing in education, we're holding ourselves back because you don't know where, we don't know where the next great inventor.
I agree with most of what you're saying there, Mike. I just think that our president, once again, is not showing the kind of leadership that gets us to the place where we need to be. We are training people. We're not training them fast enough. We're not training them effectively enough to work in this new high-tech, high-speed AI universe.
Right.
He's taking a simplistic approach. You just can't shut it off. To me, this is almost a kind of extortion. He's looking at bottom line. He wants to see if he can feed his base with this idea that he's choking off foreigners from coming into our country instead of taking a larger view and trying to step us through the process of getting our people trained while we're still developing talent from overseas, because there is talent there as well. Conservatives and Republicans used to be the free market, open market, global economy people. Let's say everybody compete with one another. Now, we've got Donald Trump, who is about othering, and let's get these people out of here so our people can have this. And it's not that simple.
No, we're too well connected at this point, globally.
Yeah, exactly.
But the other thing, too, that holds to the importing of labor is inexpensive because there's the assumption that they work harder. They don't have to have a work balance in life. They're just always down to the grind. They're not looking for vacations and water coolers with Starbucks cafeteria.
All true. That is true.
They're not looking for the amenities. They just come in and grind it out.
Yeah, they want an opportunity.
All right. Yes, exactly.
And they don't necessarily want to go back to their home country every time.
Right.
Many of them want to bring their family here
Right.
and settle here once they've come and learned about our way of life. And that's good because we are a nation of immigrants. That's who we are.
Right.
No matter how they want to slice it up. We are a nation of immigrants, period.
Now,
go ahead.
Yeah, but companies now are probably going to try to find a workaround.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to say it. Now, somebody got to say it. It's pretty hard. You see what has happened to a segment of our population, and it's not us, where they can't get the talent they want from people that look like them. You get it?
Yeah.
So the talent they want or need is coming from people that don't look like them, but are solid in American values, support the Constitution of this nation. They don't care about that. If you don't look like they want you to look, then they don't care how smart you are. They'll let the republic go before they let you take over with your brain. They're willing to let the whole thing go before they let a smarter person of color, not just black, of any nationality other than American. No, we're not going to do it, even though it supports them.
Well, Mike, that's the inflation. What about the employers?
That is.
What about the employers? I mean, right now, Amazon has 10,000 employees who have the H-1B visa.
Right.
And then I saw somewhere where there's 700,000 people who are eligible right now for that visa. The tech companies, they know they need it in order to function.
Absolutely. They know they need. I don't know. They have to. For now, they're just gonna have to pay it. until such time.
Well, the workaround is to spot them up in Canada or Mexico.
Yeah, they can work remotely.
Yeah, when we're
There will be a lot of that. They're going to work their way around it for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yep, and that's what you have to do. That's what's going to be.
There's already conversations about exemptions right now. So the majority that have the visa are from India. It's like 70%. You know, and the next number, like another 20% that are from Asia or China. But then you have the doctors who are here training. There's a lack of people in the healthcare system already. And if you pull back on countries like India, our healthcare system is going to have a weak link.
Suffer.
So that has to be an exemption of allowing certain professions to get that without that fee.
Right, without that bounty.
Well, and that's much like the hospitality industries that are suffering because of all of the deportations and the pressures put on immigrants working in those industries. Trump floats the idea of some exemptions for them and some special treatments so that he can get more immigrants back on the farm and that kind of thing. So he's going to learn the hard way that some of these ideas that sound so good and run so good with his base are just not practical.
Absolutely.
Hopeful that.
No,
lesson.
he's not going to learn.
Well, there are CEOs who are outspoken about it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The CEOs may know.
Yeah.
He's full steam ahead with his agenda.
All right.
What's going on with Mr. Comey?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
he's going down his hit list.
What you think, Wayman?
Well, I was tickled to death that this happened. I think it's going to expose just how unhinged these people are. I think if it goes to trial, and I think it's going to go to trial because I believe the judge was a Democratic appointee, so I think she's going to be pressured to allow this to go to trial and not just throw it out, which it should, of course, be completely thrown out. Once it goes to trial, and the fact that there really is no evidence and no case, it will wake a few people up and certainly expose this for what it is, simply Donald Trump seeking to hurt those that he hates. I actually look forward to this moving forward.
My issue here, I just want to understand it. They're saying he lied to Congress or to the grand jury about...
That he lied to Congress or lied to that committee. I guess they were having a hearing or whatever.
To the committee about Russia, him knowing something about Russia's interference or something like that.
Well, specifically, there was a leak to I believe it was the New York Times about some misdeeds with Russia and his involvement in that. And Andrew McCabe, who was his deputy, was brought in on this committee and said that he was the one that leaked the information, but told Comey the fact.
Yeah.
And Comey, of course, testified, I did not authorize this. So, I mean, he did not lie because he didn't authorize it. It comes down to whether or not it's going to be him against him. Unless they come up with some evidence that they have not produced publicly, this is just one man's word against another. This goes nowhere, I don't think.
That's true. Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. Waste of taxpayer dollars to try and prosecute something that's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, but he's not through with it.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's not through.
No. He has a whole list of people he wants to go after, and he's trying to use the Justice Department as his personal vendetta legal team.
All right.
Basically, anybody that
who ever
disagrees
said
with
anything about him.
Exactly.
Yes, and ultimately, that's part of being American. And especially as a president, a lot of people are going to disagree with you at a lot of times. That's part of the job of not just the president of the United States, but of any organization. You're not going to please everybody all the time, and that's not your job. Your job is to conduct the business of the country. That's the executive branch's job, to conduct the business of the country. And instead, he's reshaping the country, dismantling democracy. Speaking of which, we have less than 380 or 375 days, something like that.
What are you referring to, Mike?
What's going on, the consolidation of power. And that's why I've been saying that The S hits the fan next year. Next year is when the bloodshed starts, because power will be already ultimately consolidated, and whatever comes out of his mouth is what those people are going to do. If he says, I want these people moved out of these areas onto this area, that's what they're going to do.
Militarily or malicious?
Both. I put nothing past him. Look, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want to offend any nationality. We know what happens when fascism takes over. The Jewish population have museums all over the world to show you what happens when fascists take over. It always leads to death, destruction. I just don't understand why in this country, and I guess all over the world really, that the Jewish people are not, they've seen this before. And I would have expected more people than just Bernie Sanders and a few others to come out against what's going on. These fascists would turn on you in a second, especially Trump. He turns on his friends in a second. Look at how he turned on Musk. And what's that other, the man, his former lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. Rudy. Remember, he was his friend. They turned on him. Now he's trying to give him some sort of medal or something. I don't know what that was about. The Jewish population have monuments all over the world to show you what happens when fascism takes over. But they're being silent because this is my opinion, and this is why I said I don't want to offend anybody, and I get it. Our bombs and bullets are the ones forcing the Palestinians out of that land.
66,000 as of today.
Israel wants that land. The Jewish people here or all over the world, why would they say anything against the United States when the United States are the main ones protecting them and forcing these Palestinians out? Even though the United States is now fascist, which is astonishing, because the fascists are the very people that tried to kill the Jews. It boggles my mind. They know that these people would turn on them in a moment's notice. It might not be this year, it might not be next year, but when they get tired of you, that's what they're going to do. And they know this, yet they say nothing. I'm like, okay, politics makes strange bedfellows. The fascists tried to kill you 80 years ago, tried to wipe your population from this planet, and now here we are 80 years later. The very fascist DNA that we defeated has now permeated this country, permeated our government. And this is what you have. People are running toward them. I just don't get it.
Hicks, save us. Save us.
Yeah, save us, Mr. Hicks.
Well,
Going down this rabbit hole.
I'm not mad at the Jewish population, because if it was us, we'd do the same thing, would we not? It was us. And someone would say, no, I'm going to kill the people killing you. We will remain silent too. I get that.
I kind of think it might be maybe, just maybe. I mean, I absolutely understand where you're coming from, but I think it might be a bridge too far.
It could be. I said,
just because, first of all, the United States and Israel have had this interlocking kind of historical relationship that's gone up and down. And this is across Democratic and Republican administrations.
True. Very true.
And it's going to continue. There are a million reasons why it does. The most important one is there is a mutual benefit for both parties to continue this relationship. I don't think that we are in danger yet of a military takeover spearheaded by Donald Trump and his cult. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think that this brand of neo-fascism that we're seeing with Trump is a parallel to what we've seen before. I think that these things take lives of their own. Trump will keep throwing things out and keep pushing limits until he hits one that he can't exceed. I still have faith that that limit is there in the United States. Maybe I'm being a little bit too hopeful, but I think he can only go so far. Even some of the, like Ted Cruz and some of these folks have said, when knock Kimmel off the air. Like, wait a minute, you can't do this.
Yeah.
I think there are going to be some bumps in the road for him. We want him out of there. But it's going to just take a little bit more of that kind of push, and he's going to push as far as he can. I guess I'm not 100%.
So where do you feel the pushback is going to come from? Are you thinking the Democrats has a strategy?
I am afraid that they don't, which is troublesome. The idea that their strategy up till now seems to be just all about him, to me, is a flawed strategy. They have got to advance some policies and ideas to counter what he's doing. And they really lack the kind of Barack Obama kind of a leader that can galvanize people in a way that we're just not seeing from anybody in the party right now. Hopefully in the next couple of years, somebody emerges that can articulate policies in an effective way that we're just not seeing right now.
I think we have a greater potential from outside of Washington, D.C., whether it be here in the state of Michigan or down in Texas. There are quite a few politicians who are being outspoken and have somewhat of a vision, or at least articulate one. But I think the power that the Democrats kind of have now today will be allowing the government to shut down.
Yes, I agree.
I had a conversation where I was saying the country needs to shut down, not thinking about the federal government. I was thinking about just stop spending money, start taking vacations, just kind of buckle down and not do anything, let the country just come to a halt. But I never thought about the federal government. Here in the state of Michigan, we have a possible shutdown. I don't know if anything got approved in Lansing or not, but when you don't have the numbers in your count, you at least can have some control of the purse strings. And I think a federal government shutdown would demonstrate, or at least have some type of pushback for them to negotiate. Now, granted, I think overspending is not necessarily a good thing, because I know the Democrats are desperately talking about the ACA Act, the Obamacare. They're trying to fund that. Well, supposedly the numbers don't work out. It's an overreach. We don't have the dollars to support that program. So I don't know how they're going to figure out to support it. And then whatever thing the Republicans are talking about is still an overreach over the budget.
Absolutely.
So we're still talking trillions of dollars over the budget or adding to the budget. So, but to shut the government down, I think that's a strategy the Democrats have in their arsenal.
I think I would agree with that.
Yes, I think it should be shut down. I hate to say that.
I mean, I hate to say it too, but
Right. At this point, we're going to have to take a stand. Sacrifices are going to have to be made.
yes.
Yeah.
In order to restore democracy, sacrifices are going to have to be made.
Right.
Now, to what the Democrats have in their arsenal, the one thing, and you said something else, Tom. Anyway, the one thing that none of us like, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, nobody likes sex offenders on the magnitude of what's happened with this Epstein thing. Even the Republicans don't like this. Now, the two names that came out yesterday that were on the list were the two freaks that we already know, Musk and Prince Andrew. Now, come on, man. You're going to give me the name, the two known freaks, and expect that to appease me? Do not insult my intelligence. Come on, man. Prince Andrew is in enough trouble, and we already know Musk is a freak. So that's not saying anything to me. You understand? Who else is on that list? We know who is on the list because you can see the logs of who was on the planes. Not rocket science.
But are you saying the Democrats need to fight to get the Epstein
they need
files in case of whatever?
Just way hard. This is, well, okay, yes, they do need to fight harder, but I don't think that they're going to be successful. Because at this point, like we've said in past recordings, once power is given over to the president, ultimate power, they don't care what you say. You can fight all you want. You can file anything you want. They're not going to release it, period. So go home.
Democrats don't have that as a tool.
I don't think it's a tool for anyone at this point.
Right.
I really
if they
don't.
can get public.
I don't think it's a big enough bat.
I think
Go
that
ahead.
this
I'm sorry.
Epstein thing has just completely burned itself out, in all honesty. Unless
get it.
someone comes up with a videotape or some witnesses with credible testimony to say, he did this, he did that, here's the evidence. The flight logs and lists, as much as they have received all this press, are not evidence. Because you ride on a guy's plane, even if he's the worst pedophile on earth, does not make you a criminal.
Right.
And that kind of swings both ways. Both administrations have sat on this Epstein information since it's almost a decade now.
Yes,
Nothing's coming
yes,
of
that's
this.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but the girls told who they were having sex with.
Yeah.
Okay, we can dismiss the flight logs. Who did the girls say they was having sex with? Bring them in. If we sent 2 people to prison for sex trafficking, who were they trafficking these girls to? It was on a private island. See, this is the problem I had. If this was some public city and you don't know, you can't track down all these Johns, I get that. But on this private island, and the girls told you who they were having sex with, I don't see the problem. Other than money. I guess they're being paid off. I don't. It's condescending for me to even say that. That's terrible. We cannot condone that type of behavior. We didn't condone it out of Bill Cosby, 30 or 40 years after he did. And I don't know how long, those girls, I'm going to stay away from that. But it is what it was. It is what it is. He did what he did way back when at the Playboy Mansion and got convicted. I don't see anything different than what went on with Epstein on Epstein Island. I don't see the difference, but I do understand why nobody's going to say anything. And I do understand, like you said, Wayman, it's burned out. And that's just what Trump wanted. He's been trying to burn it out ever since the first day. He kept saying it was a hoax. Then he said, oh, this is a Democratic left-wing hoax or fake news. Remember, he's been saying this all along.
Well, that's after he said, let's go get these people, because initially
it
was about Democrats being involved in it, and they're hiding Bill Clinton.
Right.
This has just been
But
a tool for both parties to kind of play with.
Right.
I think it's just kind of
release
burned
one,
out.
you got the other.
Yeah.
I get it 100%.
All right.
That's another notch on this belt.
Well, on the Democrats, in regards to them having tools in the toolbox to slow down or get to a halt on the Republicans' agenda.
Like you said, shut it down. Just shut the government down. I don't see anything else.
That's the air traffic controllers. That's Social Security.
That's sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's the sacrifice that you make short of bloodshed. Because the only way to remove fascism, at this point, you can still remove it if you can get back in office, if there's going to be an election. That's a lot of ifs, isn't it? And that's the problem. I really do not think there's going to be any midterm elections. I definitely don't think there'll be another presidential election in my lifetime. No, I just don't see that happening under the present situation. And so that means the Democrats really, other than shutting it down, and at some point, that's not even going to be an option. Because when fascists take over, they just take over. We keep thinking in terms of what's normal. In our lifetime, we've lived in what I'm going to call a normal democracy. Both sides have disagreements, we protest, we negotiate, but the country keeps going forward. Now we're in a situation where this is not normal. Fascism is not normal in this country. We fought to keep fascism in Europe 80 years ago. I had 2 uncles in World War II. I know I told you this story before, Tom. But it's the truth. People just don't realize what went on in World War II and what that was about. If the fascists had won, none of us the 3 of us would not even be alive today. We would have never been born. Because our parents would have never met. Because our grandparents would have been killed fighting fascists. fascism and racism are hand in hand, because fascists generally believe in a one race society. Hitler definitely was killing all the Jews and would have killed all the black people too in this country. Jewish, black, you don't care. If he had gotten over here, I still have ration books from my grandmother when food or when certain things were rationed in this country during World War II. Every single World War II veteran must be turning over in his grave at this point, his or her grave, because all the fighting they did, all the dying they did, was for 80 years of keeping fascism out of this country. That is ridiculous. I would not have done that. They fought to keep fascism out of this country forever, not 80 years. What person would have given their life just for 80 years of democracy? I wouldn't have done it. So it's up to us to honor it. I just don't get, this is what's not being taught in schools. I just don't get why they didn't teach this. Well, I get why, because if you don't teach it, people won't understand. If people don't understand, then your side can take over. Thank you, Nancy DeVos. Thank you very much.
Let me slip in here.
Go right ahead, because you need to calm down.
I got it. I don't think we'll get anywhere on this because I got to get Mike to come back to the ranch.
Okay, I'm back to the ranch. All right, come on. Now you see, Wayman.
Do you have anything you want to add to that or speak on?
Well, there was a lot there, but
It's
I
always
think I
a
can only
lot.
Come back to. I think I may want to come back midway from where we started, which is the potential shutdown of the government. As a lever here, I'm always on the midpoint here. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I don't think we're going to have a shutdown. And if we do, I think it'll probably last a couple days, because at the end of the day, the shutdown hurts both parties in terms of the politicians a little bit more than they want to be hurt. When you're talking about stopping Social Security payments and air traffic controllers, as you mentioned, that is a pain that will be inflicted upon them come the midterm elections and going forward. So none of them can really afford for a shutdown to last very long. By that opinion of mine, I just don't think it's going to happen. Or if it does happen, it'll be a very brief one. And Donald Trump will come out of it blaming the Democrats and taking credit for shortening it. That's just my prediction on this shutdown talk, which we go through every year, it seems.
3 or 4 months.
We are just in such a leadership void that all of the players are involved in the political theater where nothing really gets done. We're slowly slipping down this slope where our democracy, like Mike's saying, means nothing. That we're becoming a nation of oligarchs. These corporate guys are running everything. They're calling the shots, and the politicians dance to their tune until it gets too uncomfortable, and then they make a little move this way. We need a stand-up leader at this point. Somebody's got to come up and say, enough of this.
Aren't they meeting right now?
It's going to come in my lifetime.
Aren't they meeting right now?
Probably.
Today.
I thought it got canceled.
Oh, canceled?
I thought it got canceled.
No, the first meeting got canceled.
Oh, okay.
Today's meeting went on, but as far as I can tell, Trump is going to say, take it or leave it.
I was going to say,
You know what I
there's
mean?
there's not going to be any negotiating. Did
No.
you hear him
No.
talk?
Right.
Yeah.
And what they want to negotiate, they wanted to put in a temporary stopgap for 2 or 3 months, or until right after Thanksgiving, to keep the government going while they continue to hash this out. The problem was the Affordable Care Act subsidies were going to run out. And the Democrats wanted assurances that, no, you're not going to stop this while we continue to hash this out.
Right.
Because that date for the subsidies was going to fall in there. It was going to run out. And the Republicans, no, we're not going to do that. So in other words, they were just going to let the Affordable Health Care Act credits just go away because they're still negotiating them. When they finish negotiating, they're not going to come back. The Democrats said no. And I'm with you, Tom. Shut it down. Shut it down. The Social Security Administration, as from the information that I got, the Social Security checks wouldn't stop. But you couldn't apply for Social Security. You know what I mean? There's no applications. If something's wrong, they can't correct it.
Right.
No. None of that. Your check will still come, and that's it.
Right.
Nothing else is going to happen. Right.
All right. Materialism and kids.
Materialism and kids.
Yeah. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, one of my Navy buddies. He was talking about his granddaughter. I guess it was just before school shopping. She had on an outfit that was hundreds of dollars. And he was trying to get her to understand. Well, he wanted her to understand that was not necessary to go to school. In school, to have this outfit is not necessary. So how do we get our kids to back up from that materialism of got to have it all? The latest phone, the latest sneakers, the latest purse.
That is a monumental mountain, and I could kind of speak to that from firsthand experience. And I don't have children, but as Mike knows, my retirement gig is out here at the Macy's. So I see homecoming time right now. I see hundreds of young men and their little young ladies and their parents coming in and dropping thousands of dollars on a night's worth of fun for their kids.
Yeah.
And how these children come into the store with their parents and are literally running their parents. No, I don't want that. You have to buy me this. I've never seen anything like it. We can blame the marketing executives and social media who are driving all of this because they're making billions of dollars. You are nothing unless you have this outfit. You don't have these clothes, you're not in. You don't have this look, you're nobody. And some of these kids are literally killing themselves because they cannot meet these standards that are being set by these corporate thieves who could care less. And parents are knuckling under it to it, and I have no idea how to fix it, to be honest.
Yeah, social pressures on kids today are just amazing.
Extraordinary.
I mean, the suicidal rates and the acceptance is just unbelievable. I don't know. My kids, I was fortunate enough that my kids didn't have a clue to what Nike was all about. We weren't pressured to do the video game consoles, but it was one of the things. It was like a purchase once a year. It was a holiday thing. And when they started looking for accessories, we knew we were teaching them responsibility. Okay, I'm going to give a half. Where's your half? You know, I wasn't catalog of video games. It was the accountability to that. My boys and my daughter weren't like that. They may be like that now on their own. But actually, I take that back because they don't have the latest iPhone. You know, they're still generations behind on the iPhone. But when they do have the need to have the latest and greatest, but they know that it's not necessary to have the latest and greatest.
Right.
But I just think it starts at home.
For
like
sure.
Everything
Absolutely.
starts at home. If they don't see me getting excited over a phone, over a car, it's just transportation like it's supposed to be, and it's a means of communication. Now, I don't know. I just think it's a tough uphill battle.
It's a tough uphill battle because most of the parents now have come up in that generation where they're teaching their kids that material things determine your personal value. If you've got a nice car, then you must be a nice guy, or you must be successful if you wear these clothes. The parents are raising their kids with that kind of mindset, and these are the kind of kids that they produce. And it is sad.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. The parents are raised in that mindset, and they pass that on to their children.
Yeah.
And it's magnified, like you said, with the social media influencers. Have this, you got to wear this, you got to walk like this or dance like this. It's ridiculous.
Well, the music videos, the guys are flashing all the money and they've got all the jewelry. I mean, this is what they are learning to aspire to. So how you fix it?
No, I don't have because the advertisers aren't going to stop. They're going to do whatever's going to keep making them the money. There's no morals in advertising. No. It's about business.
Speaking of morals, what was the company with the young lady with the jeans? I wonder how their stock is doing and how their sales are.
I don't know. I could not tell you.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have exploded because it certainly exploded on social media. People are looking for that. They want that shock value. They want that explosion of attention, and then it drives their sales. It drives people to their products. They don't care if it hurts anybody.
And it's not helping. Well, I guess that's kind of a different subject, but with the AI now, kids are looking to AI for a relationship. They have a relationship with AI. In other words, they're asking AI questions that they should be asking their parents or their friends. They should be having conversations with real people about these things. The one I saw was about suicide.
Yeah.
AI somehow said you should commit suicide or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I heard,
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not just kids getting their heads turned around by this new technology. We've got adults out here dating and talking about marrying their AI partner that they've created online. It is seriously a new
it's
form
sick.
of madness.
It's sick. Right.
It's hard to
What
understand
happens?
how this even happened.
What happens when these things start coming to life and walking around? Oh, man. Sid, what was that? With Denzel Washington, Sid 3.0, remember? He was a computer program that came to life and was walking around, remember, committing all these crimes. That was crazy.
We laugh about these kind of things, but it is easily conceivable that we're going to have robots walking around in our homes and on the streets in 20 years, easily.
Downtown right now.
Oh, yeah, they're out now, but I mean, they are going to at some point become household items just like the toasters and vacuum cleaners. It's just a matter of time.
Speaking of vacuum cleaner, that's one of the items that runs free through your house. If you have it, I don't have one.
No.
iRobot, not iRobot. Some kind of,
I got a real one.
Yeah, I'm the
vacuum cleaner.
Exactly.
I'm that tool.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Yeah. Hey, it's,
lively conversation.
yeah.
I enjoyed it. Hopefully, hopefully I was an adequate pinch hitter here. I enjoyed it. Thanks for inviting me.
It's our pleasure.
You're welcome. Our pleasure.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever saw that side of Mike.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's seen it.
Okay.
And this is the toned down version.
Yeah, we've had to run Mike off the tennis court a few times.
Oh, boy.
That's all the time we have this week. Be sure to hit the follow button to receive a notification when we upload a new episode. To learn more about today's topics, go to the show description. You can text us. Join us every week by becoming a follower on your favorite streaming service. If you enjoy our podcast, become a supporter. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with the What's Going On podcast.